The Taiwan Space Agency, or TASA, has just announced that they plan to launch 6 new communication satellites starting in 2026. What are Taiwan's current satellite capabilities like, and why is TASA focused on these communication satellites right now?
The Taiwanese Space Agency, the TASA, is actually a 30 years old organization, but the Taiwanese government is focusing on space development just since recent years. The government put much more budget than before, so we don't really have a lot of satellites, but more than 1,000 we have. And they are mainly so-called weather satellites or Earth observation satellites. Communication is actually one of the most critical elements in the modern society. In particular, all our technological life in the future will highly rely on internet. If you look at the battlefield in Ukraine, you will find that the SpaceX and its Starlink system play a crucial role to support the Ukrainian government and society and military survive from the war and maintain the basic function of the whole society, like financial, hospital system, and so on.
TASA's plan is to build its own domestically made satellite communication system similar to SpaceX's Starlink. But SpaceX already has the industry leading system. Why not just use theirs?
In our telecommunication law, the Taiwanese government asked a foreign company to create a joint venture in Taiwan, and the Taiwanese government or Taiwanese stakeholders should have more than 50%. For the Taiwanese government, that is quite important to make sure, even in the most critical time, the system could still work. But the SpaceX want to hold the whole 100%. So in that sense, I think there are still no consensus between Taiwanese government and SpaceX. That is also the reason that the Taiwanese program of communication resilience choose OneWeb instead of SpaceX.
Speaking of OneWeb, the satellite company from the UK, their systems were recently used during rescue operations after the earthquakes in eastern Taiwan. How useful are these systems during natural disasters?
Well, I think that is quite critical, just like in Ukraine, because in wartime or in natural disasters, many infrastructure might be damaged or be destroyed. In this emergency time, to maintain the communication is the most critical things. So in that sense, this kind of a new space communication system like OneWeb or Starlink will be very important for the rescue and also for the rescue mission and also to keep the whole society works.
The head of TASA announced 6 new communication satellites, but how many would it take to make this a reliable system that would work even if China or anyone else tried to interfere with it?
Well, actually, if you look at the Director General Wu Zhongxin, what he said before, actually we need at least 50 or 60 satellites. But now we know that they claim for maybe 100 or 120. That means for the resilience, we need more than 50, 60 because we need redundancy to make sure the whole system will work even with some jamming or even with some anti-satellite technologies and so on.